if you don't repeat the victory from time to time, the victories of the past can be stolen. And for example, after we have lost our control over Eastern Europe and Warsaw Pact was dismantled, that was a kind of first stage of taking the results of this great patriotic war from us. And NATO has invaded this territory. After that, there was the collapse of Soviet Union. Soviet Union, the main actor of this victory. And the victory was very important foundational myth for the community of Soviet people, of unity of different societies living inside of the same unique state. And the collapse was the second moment of the loss of the results of this great victory. And after that, Europe and the West in general, most of all globalists, started to undermine our involvement in that. So they started to say that Hitler and Stalin was the same, and one totalitarianism was in fight against the other totalitarianism. They were equal. So that is a kind of denying moral aspect, moral dimension of this victory. And after that, there was an idea that is not only Russia, and not so much Russia, but, for example, United States or Great Britain, they played a major role over Hitler. And after that, there was a kind of effort to rehabilitate Nazi ideology in Ukraine, supporting these bandit extremists. And that was a total reversal of our victory. And now we are dealing with that. That is not only the big glory and commemoration of our heroic acts and victory, but that is a very, very sad and bitter dimension of this commemoration of this victory, because the victory is almost stolen from us.
And is that why we don't hear in the West about the fatality numbers? 27 million people, civilians and soldiers, dead in the Soviet Union, 20 million in China. Even Indonesia had more dead than the combined totals of the US, the UK, France, Belgium, for instance. That fact always seems to be downplayed.
Absolutely. That is just elements of the huge war of the interpretation. So the history is not about the facts. The history is about interpretation of fact. And in order to make the different image of some event, you emphasize some elements, you downplay different elements, and you change the image, because the history is the sequence of the images of victories, of loss, of great discoveries, and that depends from narrative, not from the fact themselves, because in the history, in the human life, in the human society, there are no such thing as once and for all established facts. The facts are revised, they are reinterpreted during history, and when in one point, in one place, ideology is changing, that affects the history of the same place, of the same people. So that is very important, to fight for the historical memory. Memory, it is identity. So now we are in some way, in some sense, we are still in this war against Europe. We are still in the same great patriotic war against Nazi Germany, because it was not just Germany, it was not just Nazi, that was Europe, that was